These are the 10 elite maritime special operation forces that shape modern naval warfare. Kopaska. Kopaska is Indonesia's premier naval frogman unit, built for underwater demolition and clandestine ship assault in archipelagic waters. Its operators clear mines, transport defensive, board hostile vessels, and prepare landing zones for larger amphibious forces. That gives Indonesia a useful local strike tool for port security and coastal denial. But it is still a national force capability, not a long-range expeditionary one. With no dedicated SDVs or submarine delivery assets, its reach stays limited to the immediate maritime environment. It is dangerous in the waters it knows best, but it does not yet have the insertion depth to climb higher. That is a strong regional profile, but the next unit adds more active interdiction and flexible boarding power. Pascal. Malaysia's Pascal is a maritime interdiction force built for VPSS, anti-piracy work, and underwater sabotage. It transports sea, air, and land insertion, and it carries tools like the Heckler and Koch P-11 underwater pistol and close work below the surface. In the Malacca Strait and the South China Sea, that means Pascal can stop hijacked vessel and secure offshore platform quickly. That advantage is versatility. It can move from ship to ship or from water to rig with confidence. That broader insertion depth starts to matter more once a force can move from submarines instead of the surface craft. And El Marsov. The Dutch NL Marsov is a compact maritime special operation force with world-class diver training and true cover insertion options. Its frogmen can move from Walrus-class submarine, and the force uses diver propulsion vehicles or DPVs. That changes how it's fight. It can arrive unseen, control the timing, and shape the engagement before the enemy understand what is happening. That is a major setup from simple boarding work. The Netherlands brings serious capability, but not the mass of a larger naval power. Still, its stealthy undersea delivery makes it more dangerous than many bigger but less specialized units. Marcos. India's Marcos are designed for long-range amphibious raids and covert sea insertion across the Indian Ocean. They operate with the CE-2F X-100 swimmer delivery vehicle, or building indigenous mini-submarine, and use the APS underwater assault rifle when the mission turns into direct underwater combat. That gives India a real blue water special operation option, not just boarding ships, but reaching deeper into contested waters and supporting port interdiction or counter-piracy work. The constraint is development. Their mini-sub capability is still maturing, so the force has strong momentum but not full reach yet. Once that reach is paired with heavier submersible capacity, the threat level rises again. Russian Naval Spetsnaz. Russian Naval Spetsnaz bring a large, heavily armed maritime sabotage force into the ranking. Its detachment use IDA closed-circuit rebreathers, APS underwater assault rifles, SPP-1 underwater pistol, and mini-subs such as Piranha and Triton classes to get them close without being seen. That matters because it lets them threaten ports, ships, and literal defense in ways that are hard to screen against. Their strength is scale and old-school combat aggression. The weakness is integration. Even so, it is serious underwater strike arm. The next level is not just about getting in quietly, but about tying the infiltration to a broader fleet mission. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe for more military content like this, and let us know in the comments which maritime unit you think is overrated and underrated. Comsupin. Italy's Comsupin is a historic raider force that combines combat types into commando teams under one maritime command. Its diver delivery vehicle and mini-subs give it flexible insertion from the sea, while the Operation Raiders Group transports submarine lockout, helicopter assaults, and helo entries into littorals. That means Comsupin can raid ships, coastal facilities, or port infrastructure, then leave before the target can recover. It is also deeply tied to Mediterranean security, where quiet access matters as much as firepower. The limitation is size. Comsupin is highly capable, but its footprint is smaller than the broader fleet-backed forces above it. Its value comes from precision, not mass. Sayetet 1-3. Israel Sayetet 1-3 is a maritime strike force built for precision rating and sea denial. It trains for advanced closed-circuit diving, underwater demolition, and night vision insertion, and it works with swimmer delivery vehicle, Zodiac RHIBS, and Snonet FACS to move fast and stay hard to detect. Sayetet 1-3 is not just a diver unit. It is part of security system that treats nearby waters as a combat zone. It is one of the most complete maritime SOF package in the world, and the next unit takes that model and ties it even more tightly to a full expeditionary fleet. Commandos Marine. France Commandos Marine operates as a fleet integrated maritime spreadhead, and that is what pushes them into the top tier. 7 commando elements cover shipboarding, coastal rating, reconnaissance, and electronic warfare support, while Commando Harbour specializes in underwater demolition from submarine. Their insertion options are unusually flexible. Frigates, amphibious ships, nuclear submarines with SDFs, helicopters, parachutes, and RHIPs all fit the same mission set. France can launch maritime special operations almost anywhere its navy is present, which makes the force useful in counter-piracy, sanction enforcement, and covert interdiction. Even so, the combination of naval platforms and special operation doctrines makes the Commandos Marine a very hard force to outrank. What separates the last two positions is whether the fleet and integration comes with the deepest insertion ecosystem available. Special Boat Service. Britain's Special Boat Service is built for covert maritime operation in the night waters. Recruited mainly from the Loyal Marines and selected through the same pipeline as the SAS, it adds amphibious specialization on top of already elite standards. The SPS is backed by submarines with dry deck shelters, fast insertion or interceptor craft, and Mark V SOC boats, which mean it can reach and shoreline quietly, fast, and at distance. That matters because it turns maritime access into a choice rather than a problem. The SPS can infiltrate, gather intelligence, or interdiction shipping where overt naval forces will be too visible. U.S. Navy SEALs. The U.S. Navy SEALs, including Dev Crew, sits at the top because they combine elite maritime special warfare with the deepest naval support system on the list. They use trigger larvae rebreathers for silent swimmer infiltration, swimmer delivery vehicles, and fast boats such as the Mk5 and RHIPs to move covertly across waters. More important, they can launch from Navy ships, submarine, and amphibious forces, then plug into UAVs, surveillance buoys, and secure communications that improve target awareness before contact. That combination changes the character of the mission. They are globally deployable maritime tool for reconnaissance, direct action, counter-terrorism, and sea control. Their record also matters. Panama, maritime interdiction, hostage rescue, and high-risk boarding show a force that is rapidly used at the sharp edge of U.S. power. No other naval special operations force on this list combines that level of reach with that level of support. Which naval special operation unit will take your number one spot? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Then watch the next video on the screen right now.